surprise, mysterious live stream, which I didn't announce. It's only the two of us who planned this. So we just jump on this call to share something quite exciting, I would say. Um, and today's guest is going to be Jonathan Jacobson from Sweden, who has been playing around with IFC Overshell in the website, in the browser. And today he's going to cover IfcTester for Revit. I'm not going to say more than that because I don't have a very deep knowledge about this thing. I didn't get the time to dive deep into it, and I don't use Revit, so I'm not the proper guy for that. I'll give him the word and the screenshot. But before that, guys, if you watch this, leave a comment, say hi, and also click on that repost button to share it with your friends. Maybe you have a friend who is using Revit and struggling exporting to IFC, and maybe they are going to learn something interesting from this live stream. Jonathan, welcome. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks, Petru, again, for featuring one of my ideas that I have going on.
My pleasure.
I, as well as Peter, have fallen into interest with ideas to do checking on IFC models. But that process, as described by many, has often the process goes that the consultants or architects export their IFC and they're uploaded to the CD, and someone fetches that IFC from the CD and goes back to check and then report back in some format. Maybe using BCF or some reporting format like PDF or HTML or something. But from my experience so far with ideas, the best way to really get this ball rolling in the projects is to have validation right inside where the BIM model is authored and the data is actually inputted, right? Which is why I've been I've been trying a few times to do this right inside Revit and failed. But just recently I got the chance to dig deep a day or two into this topic again, inspired by how Blender BIM has this validation setup that you have shown, Petra, right? Or streamed the like Blender BIM implementation of IfcTester.
Yes, Blender BIM, Bonsai BIM. One quick thing. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's not easy to forget about how this project started, right? But just to make sure, guys, if you are watching this, please leave me a comment and tell me if you can hear us, if you can see Jonathan's screen, and if you can hear us. This is extremely important. So please comment and let me know, okay? So that we know that we don't talk only to ourselves. Okay, I see there are 3 people who are watching, so you should be able to type in something. So please say something, okay? Tell us or confirm to us that you can hear us. This sounds extremely interesting, Jonathan, and I can't wait to learn more from this. So I'll just let you do something, but before that, let me try to ask you actually something. One thing that I want to clarify, because this is extremely important. Usually, when we talk about ideas, we are thinking about something that we execute on IFC, right?
Yes.
So, what is going to happen here? Are you going to check something inside Revit before you create an IFC model, or are you going to somehow generate an IFC model, export an IFC model in the background and check that using IfcTester? What is the thought process here?
Yeah, so I've there are tools like I don't know, the Roots has one for that type of validation where it's more it's where you like before you're exporting you do the like parameter mapping from the ideas to the ones that you have in Revit, and then you still validate in Revit. But since the like like information model on an IFC is different from how it's in Revit. For me, it makes more sense to validate the exported IFC files to get the
That's why I asked
proper
you.
mapping,
That's exactly
right?
why I asked you, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll let you,
So
because that was like everyone was telling me, hey, there is this ideas for ArchiCAD for Revit,
mm,
but they were missing the point that actually it doesn't matter what you check in ArchiCAD if you don't check your IFC model, which is generated afterwards.
yes.
You are
Mm.
still you have no idea how good your model is, right?
Yeah, because on the surface, it it looks like you can do it just by just importing the properties and mapping them to the Revit model or something.
Mhm.
But it's not going to be the end result of your delivery. It has to be the end that you validate the actual data that you're going to send to the CD.
Exactly.
So that's why
Exactly.
I like this route better. I'm not saying this is perfect. It's not at all perfect, but I think it's closer to my dream of having IDS as a form validation tool than um, than doing it like a parameter mapping inside Revit. Because if you can still mess up if you export using the wrong settings and deliver that file to the CD. So it has to be the file that you've exported, and that's why I think this makes more sense. So
Yeah.
I'll go through how it works, and then we'll see. Well, I guess you have 1,000 questions later on.
Yeah.
So this is an add-in that you install. It uses it's maybe it's like it's two parts. Um, one of them has this web UI. So this right party that opened when I clicked the IfcTester button.
Mhm.
This is a web app, and this web app communicates to a small plugin that's basically like a gateway between your Revit model here to the left and this web app locally hosted on your machine. So this is not a URL somewhere else. This is installed with the plugin. So this is on my machine on the right part here.
Very nice.
Um, so the interaction between this right part and left part is an API that makes it able to one get the export configurations that you have in your model. So these ones in this dropdown, these are the actual ones that you have in your Revit file in this list here. So
Mhm.
these are like the pre like the template export setups from this
Yeah.
model for
If you
Revit.
have a custom one, if you create a custom
Yeah,
one, that will also
in
show up here.
yes, so that will show up here, and this is how you usually do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You still need some custom settings in let's say every project that uses IFC models for model-based construction. You need to have a custom one here.
For sure.
I won't dig down deep into this, but these ones available here in your model will be the one that's available here in this app. Um, and you have an export button that actually uses this active view that I have in Revit and exports that active view with these settings. And this makes it possible to have where to actually get the view that you have here exported as an IFC and loaded that into this app. And
Mm.
that's how we get um, your IFC in Revit exported into this web app. And now that we have it in the web app, we can do things with that IFC closer, like with a closer interaction with Revit, your Revit model. So if I select my one of these settings and I press export IFC, you'll see it start to churn out an IFC, and then this will be loaded into
Mhm.
this IfcTester. This is exported into a temporary folder for now, um, and it's loaded into this app. And now I can either create my custom ideas if I'm
Mhm.
some BIM nerd like you and me, Petra, or if I'm an architect, I would import an ideas from that has all of the client requirements for this project.
Mm-hmm.
This works very similar to, like it's the exact same thing as the IfcTester on the web, where you can import and open IDS files and yeah. But now I can run the exported IFC file and audit that against these requirements. And I
Yeah.
can see that some of the elements have passed because they have name and fire rating has been exported, but description is missing. So if this were a client requirement that you need to have description on your IFC model, this will let you like see what elements don't pass these requirements for walls in this case. And I have a selector here that you can select walls inside your Revit model that don't have this description field.
Oh, how did you do that? Can you show me one more time, please?
So when you run your audit, you
Yeah.
can I've added this small select icon here, so you can
That
select the
icon.
element.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you have to click on it and then it selects the objects that are missing okay,
Yes.
the only that is based on global ID, right? It picks only
Yes.
one
It's on
object.
it's on the GUID. This
Okay, okay. Oh, but that's very good because you can go quickly and fix that.
yeah. So now you can it uses this active view. So now I can fix this wall, this description. I can add this the way you go about it. I'll show this in Revit as well. The way you go about adding this description field in Revit is that you need to add that IFC description property into Revit. So I'll just quickly jump through that. And you need to add this description field on instance level, and let's just dump it into every wall and then sort them into IFC parameters. And then we have this property added in the project. And the one, let's say this wall, this exterior wall. So I've selected that, and now I can add this description field, dummy description, into this instance. And since it's the active view, I can actually isolate like only this wall, or just the walls, which makes it quicker to validate only the walls in the building. So now I can, if I run this again, this export, it will like instantly export and also validate the files. Now I can see, oh, this element, this has actually passed this requirement. So it actually does have a description. And now I have these 7 other elements that needs this fix.
That's amazing.
So this makes it now it makes it quite fast to see like the status. But it will help you find the needle in the haystack basically, and like get the structure in your IFC export going the right way. But it's right now the current state of this tool is not to like fix let's say 1,000 elements at once,
No.
but it's to find those needle in the haystacks elements
Yeah,
that don't
but I think it's
are
something
failing.
like most of the time, from my experience using ideas for over 2 years now, what is usually happening is that when you find something missing, usually it's missing in all the elements.
Yes.
So you don't have to click through each element. You just go and pick up all the walls, all the windows, all the doors, and add the missing information. And then you can check again and see again if you are missing just few of them, right? So
Yes. Yeah.
you don't have to use that always. Because that's what I see. I've seen I've been experiencing mostly, right?
Mm.
So that shouldn't be a limitation.
Yeah. I agree. But there are obviously ways you can improve this and how it interacts with Revit to be more, let's say, live.
What do you mean?
Now, yeah,
What exactly do you have in mind?
because now that we have the reason why it's hard to do IDS validation without something like this is because you have to have this parameter mapping table between Revit parameters and the IDS or IFC structure, right?
Yeah.
But in essence, now that we have exported like this view and IDS here on the right, we actually kind of have a parameter mapping table between these walls in IFC and the Revit, which if this tool was like fully fleshed out, you could actually get a more like in, let's say if I change something here, I can rerun parts of the validation for these walls. For this wall, now because we actually have a kind of a mapping between IDS and Revit now that we have exported an IFC file. So it's this means that like in the future, it could this description field here or like a value field in this part could actually be a form to write back to Revit. Or at least attempt to write back to Revit.
Yeah.
So for some elements, it would be crazy to do that, but for some fields, it kind of makes sense to actually use this part
I
as
understand.
a form for Revit. So if you have like a length parameter and you're trying to write that, maybe that's some instance parameter level in Revit, and that's you don't want to do that in a form. You want to make sure that you have full control, of course, but in some ways this could be further developed to be able to actually correct your model right there.
I understand. Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to show before I start asking more questions? But guys, if you are watching and you have any questions, just leave them here in the chat, and I'm going to ask Jonathan at the end. Okay.
No, this is in essence how it works. So, but yeah, it's there are you can use this as like a BIM coordinator to write if you have a Revit oriented project. You can use it to write and test your IDS files before like you send the ideas to the consultants in the project.
This is amazing. Yeah, this is extremely important, and I don't think only BIM coordinators. I think this is definitely very good for a BIM modeler as well. Just that maybe BIM modelers could get the IDSs from the BIM coordinator, so they don't have to learn how to create IDS, right? Or if they already have it from the client, that's another thing. But yeah, I think this is going to.
And for me, this has actually been a pretty nice tool to learn about the intricacies of IFC export from Revit. So it's I've also developed this for myself because I mean we have at least here in Sweden that's a lot of Revit projects that for these model-based construction projects. So when you have a tool like IDS to do it like this information requirements and tests against the IFC files directly, it's pretty nice to be able to go back and forth constantly and just check
definitely
and test.
More effective. Yeah, definitely more effective.
Yeah, because otherwise you'll end up using. I mean, there are very good tools for model checking like Solibri or others, but it's not so it's not so integrated as closely as something like this.
Yeah, definitely.
So
And
if I'm interested in just adding all of the parameters for the walls, I can just isolate 3 walls and just iterate on my configuration and get that in the proper order, like in seconds, instead of like doing a full IFCA
this
export
is
and
amazing,
opening all
actually.
tabbing the Solibri and updating model blah, 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 and all of that.
You're right, actually. This is extremely powerful. Like right now, I think what you mentioned is extremely important because that's what I'm preaching since I started using IDS. Like it's okay, you should have the BIM coordinators checking, but you can save the most possible time if you run the IDS at the source, at the core, before the model comes. because you avoid a lot of unnecessary communication and waiting times and so on. This is where things can be a lot of time can be saved. And like
Mm.
an ideal workflow pops up into my mind right now. You have the client defining their requirements and creating ideas, like for example Bani Noor has done with their ideas, although their ideas are not working for other people because they, yeah, that's another story. But the concept, the idea is good. You have the requirements, you provide ideas, and you have people working on your projects who just load your ideas, smash it there, and they run these ideas before they send you any model. And voila, that's the holy grail of using ideas, because
Mm.
you avoid everything. So it's very clear the modeler cannot deliver any model before it's everything green in the model. Simple. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is that simple. I can just agree. Um,
Okay, Mehdi Bem Garbia is asking how to install IfcTester. Yeah, how, if somebody is interested to use this tool, how can they use it? What they have to do? Great question, Mehdi.
so this is the app is hosted on GitHub.
Okay,
So where it's a small guide to how it works and stuff, and it's some description if
how to install and everything.
and yeah, the how to install part is if you're not familiar with GitHub, this is the part that you're looking for.
Releases.
This releases. This is
Mhm.
where if it's a Revit plugin or something, this is the part that you're looking for. So
Okay.
you don't have to. Most of them, yeah, this is not what you're looking for, like digging into this, but it's the releases part.
Okay, show us exactly how that looks. So you click
Yeah.
there
So if you,
and
you
you
click,
download the executable file.
yeah, and this is a normal Windows installer that
Mhm.
copies all of the necessary parts into the add-ins folder for Revit. This is for 2025, just to be clear right now.
Doesn't work in all the versions.
Uh,
Okay.
no, not yet.
Okay.
Um, so
It's amazing, man. Like it's an amazing start. I don't know what your plans are for the near future. If you already started to get any feedback, but guys, you should start using this like yesterday. This is an extremely amazing tool. If you care, of course. Those who don't care, they will not use it, of course, because they don't really care about their work, their quality.
mm,
But if you care about your work, if you are proud about the work you do, and you want to show that you know what you're doing, this is the thing you have to do. No excuses anymore. What are you doing?
yeah, I'm
Tell us.
just showing how
Showing
it's used
how it
in
works live,
class.
how you fix live. Wow, yeah, it's I
So
have my work like.
and now that we have this working, like if let's say if all of the if I'm as a consultant and I'm exporting my SE and getting everything in order, so every door passes. Um, Now I can use like the normal way of exporting or whatever tool that you have to process like the export the IFC file
At
that
the
you have
end, you
to plug
mean?
in. Yeah, and I'll use
But
that and
let me
then
tell you something. Sorry for
yeah,
interrupting. Like,
no.
can you also find the temporary folder and find the
Yeah,
model
I
that
mean,
is
yes,
checked?
I could add
A
a folder
button.
here to
You should
open.
have a button there, like open the temporary folder to snag
Yeah,
the IFC.
I'll
So you don't have to.
add that to my wish list.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So that, because if it's already there, why should we export it again, right? But
Ah,
yeah,
you're right.
maybe it's
Ah,
not
you're right. You're right.
exported
You're right.
fully.
Yeah. You are right. And
I have a
it's
point.
another one, another model, another way to also test your file. Now I have shown you how you'll export, but if let's say if you're working on immensely large project and
Mhm.
you don't want to like wait for to yeah like lock your Revit model to just export an IFC file, you can if you have like a weekly drop of IFC files from somewhere,
Mhm.
you can actually load that in uh, manually.
Mhm.
So let's yeah, let's take something like this.
Yeah.
and
It,
this will so you could load something from, let's say, if you have a BIM guy at your firm or something that already has exported an IFC file for you, you can load that in to not be able to wait for an IFC export,
uh-huh.
uh,
Yeah, yeah. So you
and you
just
can run
use
that.
the default like way of using IfcTester, like
Yeah,
how
that's
you
the
you,
base.
you
Yeah,
do it without
you're right.
Revit. Yeah.
Yeah, but you
So
can still use
guys,
the Revit model from from someone else. If someone else
yeah,
has exported the
yeah,
IFC,
yeah, yeah.
you use that
That's true.
capacity.
That's true. That's true. That's a great point. And guys, uh, you have to grab this as soon as possible because you know it's extremely expensive. It costs 10,000 euros. No, I'm kidding, guys. It's free. It's freaking free. You can just download it from GitHub. Okay, just start using it and provide some feedback. Write some issues there if you find any issues, and provide some feedback for Jonathan so he can, when he will have time to fix them if you find any things that are not working. But this looks amazing. I'm very like I don't have much more to say, but for me this is like the happening of the thing that I'm preaching since day one.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah,
it's not really you and me that needs to get this process on board. It's the
the
architects and engineers
yeah,
authoring these tools that has to have them as close as possible to
possible.
their
Yeah.
authoring environment.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, but they
not in
need
the cloud
they
or
have to be helped either by the clients, either by the BIM coordinators, so that they don't have to think. The only thing they have to worry about is
mm,
about importing, no, installing this plugin, and then importing the IDS and check and fix everything. That's it, right?
mm. Yeah,
uh, Meanwhile the IDSs should be done by the clients and BIM coordinators, BIM managers, whatever.
totally agree.
Mm. Yeah,
I
and
mean,
yeah,
because
like
there are just to mention that there are like a lot of cloud tools that enables you to do checking. I mean, if the ones that are listening are new to ideas, there are tools to do this on the common data environment where you upload your IFC files
mhm,
for the data drops, of course. But
mhm,
if you, imagine, I often paint the picture of like, imagine if you're doing, yeah, we had the the Black Week, last week, where
mhm.
all the like shopping sprees online. Imagine if when you go to purchase something online, um, you don't, you can if imagine that you
Oh, Jonathan dropped. Yeah, he'll be right back, I guess. Something happened with the internet. I hope it's not me. Guys, can you still see and hear me? See, he is back.
did I drop something? Did something
Yeah,
happen?
you dropped your
Yeah,
internet. You didn't pay for the full day, 24 hours. You get
probably.
interruptions. Oh
Yeah,
my
but
God.
imagine if you're doing online shopping and you can input the wrong data, the wrong credit card number and the wrong data to your address or something. That doesn't work like in practice, but that's how we do it right now with IFC models. You can that you're actually allowed to upload false information or like
Illegal.
incomplete
Yeah,
information.
and even illegal IFC models, man. I know. Come on. Like you don't
Yeah,
know, like you don't know.
yeah, but
Like you're
that's
completely
how we
right.
do it today. That's the
Yeah,
process
yeah.
of today, and
Because
that's
nobody
I mean,
cares. Nobody
yeah,
cares. Most people don't care. They just have the IFC as handover. Nothing else.
yeah,
Nothing more.
yeah.
That's it.
But we have to get to a point where there it's actually easy to deliver models as well,
Yeah,
and I
and
hope this tool can
this
be one.
makes it. Yeah, this gets us much closer for sure. This gets us much closer. I'm not sure if you can extend this further to also help you to populate with the proper information in Revit as well, so that you can get proper information in IFC easier for those who don't. Because I still think that's the biggest challenge right now. Most
Yeah,
people
I mean,
have no clue how they should get their information to what.
I agree. I do have some ideas on. Since that you have uh, in order to get a proper IFC export correctly done, you still need to configure these
The settings, yeah.
these settings, right? So and this part is something that people often need help with setting up.
Yeah,
And there are a bunch of YouTube videos to help you with this, of course. Yeah, Beam Corner is a very good resource. There's the IFC. There's a manual for this in for Revit on the web as well. But it would make sense to have this kind of guide available in this part as well, to like a guide to let's say some of these like yeah weird weirder properties, if I can
hmm,
say that, or like attributes in that are not usually um, a part of a spec, like this description. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but it's
yeah,
description is it's so useful as an attribute. As to be honest, it's very usable. But it's I mean, if to set this up, you need quite a few clicks to get it working.
yeah,
Um, so it would make sense to have some guidance on some of these
yeah,
things related to Revit export. Now that we're in Revit, it makes sense
yeah,
to have. Okay, so you have like an info button or something that you can read. Okay, description, attribute. Then you need to have this shared parameter, or
yeah.
yeah, it's setup, or at least links to the IFC manual
Hmm.
from Autodesk.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm. Makes
uh,
sense.
yeah,
Okay, guys, if you have any other questions, now is the time to ask because we are wrapping it up. Um, I'm very excited about this thing. I'm very, very excited. Amazing job one more time, Jonathan. Thank you so much again for your efforts.
yeah.
I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
This kind of things help us a lot, help us make the industry better. So, guys, stop looking for excuses when it comes to IFC. You can do like day by day, you get more and better tools out there. You just have to try it. The models are not going to get to fix themselves by themselves. Like you have to dedicate that time. I think, yeah, it's always about the motivation, Jonathan. Like if you work with model-based construction and OpenBeam is employed on the project you work in, we have an incentive. We have no choice, kind of, right? So
yeah.
we have to get more people there. That's the problem, that most people are in a place where IFC is just something extra you add at the end just to get something after the project has been built or stuff like that. But if the client decides from the get-go that everyone should use OpenBeam IC models, then the model becomes much more important. And
Mm,
yeah, especially for model-based construction, when drawings are disappear, the quality of the information becomes more important, and that's why the more pressure and more scrutiny is put on actually the quality of the model. So
mm,
you have to check your model. You have to make sure you have the information. Otherwise, a lot of people are going to not be able to do their job. So
yeah,
yeah,
correct.
yeah. So yeah, thank you very much for this amazing uh, another tool that you built. And I'm looking forward to see how this is going to grow this project, because I think more people should use it.
Yeah, I do as well. And if there's
Yeah.
someone out there that has any type of feedback, like Peter has already given me,
Yeah.
please feel free to reach out on LinkedIn or
Yes, guys. Yeah. By the
whatever.
way, we
You
have.
reach my name.
Yeah. Reach out to him or even to me. Send me a message, and I'll forward it to Jonathan. If you are in the Beam Voice Academy in the community, we have a post about this. I just made another post about this live stream, so feel free to just comment there as well. And yeah, Jonathan will get this. Otherwise, if you want to do it more technically, you can also leave a comment, an issue. You can create an issue on GitHub. Maybe that's the best way, because he sees it, but it doesn't matter. Like the just if you are using, if you find something that doesn't work, or you just want to say thank you, then feel free to do so. It means a lot for somebody who invests time, their own time, to develop these things, at least to get some feedback, to know if he's on the right track or not.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, good that you put this in the comment as well. And yeah, let me show it here. You guys see now, there is this GitHub big steering IfcTester. Yeah, you can find it here at the bottom, but also in the comment on LinkedIn. It looks like not on YouTube, but on LinkedIn. But yeah, if you search by IfcTester Revit GitHub, you will find it, I would assume, right?
Yes,
If you search
I
in
guess.
Google, should work. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And thank you so much again, one more time, Jonathan. And
Yeah, thank you, Victor.
yeah, looking forward to our next chat, man. Like, this is extremely exciting for me. And yeah, I'm very happy to see this passion surfacing out as these amazing things that makes people's lives easier. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, bye, Victor. Bye.
We stay in touch. Bye. Have a nice day, Jonathan.